Welcome to Haunt Weekly.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jonathan.
I'm Crystal.
And this is Haunt Weekly, a weekly podcast for the honor distraction and entertainment industry. Whether you're an actor, owner, or just plain aficionado, we aim to be a podcast for you. And we return to you this week with what I'm sure for many will be an attention-grabbing episode headline.
Yeah.
I have a feeling this one's going to get some clicks and some commentary, and that's okay. But please, what we do ask is you hear us out.
Yeah.
Don't
jump to conclusions based on the title.
And you know, even if you know about us, even if you know us, don't jump to conclusions on this one.
Yeah.
I think you'll find this to be much more pragmatic and goal-oriented than this conversation often goes.
Yes.
How's that?
Yes, and a quick thank you to Chris Gay for asking us to do this a while ago. And
yes.
It's been sitting in our bank.
Yeah, it's been sitting in our bank. We really haven't had a chance to do it. Now we do, and we're going to get it done. Also, real fast, if audio sounds a little different this week, it is because we are trying a different way of recording for these type of ones where we have to do it just the two of us, and we're not doing anything live. We're recording with both devices, old and new, though apparently the old one is going to die.
Oh.
It looks like it said 3 bars on the battery, and now it says 1, literally in this amount of time. Oh, that's lovely. But anyways, we are indeed recording on both devices, so we will see which we choose, which I think has better audio when the time comes.
Okay, that sounds good.
But on that note, if you do have comments, feedback, and otherwise, please do take a minute. Let us know. HauntWeekly.com, Haunt Weekly on Twitter, Facebook.com/HauntWeekly, and Twitter.com/HauntWeekly are the main social media outlets. So you can also find us at YouTube.com/HauntWeekly. We do read the comments there, and guess what? We do have every episode available for you to access. You can also find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts from. So please hit us up wherever. Like, subscribe, you know the drill. If you haven't done it by now, please do. So anyways, last week we asked a very simple question of the week.
Right.
Honestly, I think I'm more happy with these answers than I have been in a long... I mean, we get great answers every week.
Yeah.
But this one was a real turnout of quality.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't know if anything's going to compare to this. We asked, what is your funniest haunt experience? And we asked you both about your experiences working in a haunt and going through haunts. Whether you're an actor, owner, or just aficionado, you can tell us your experiences. And we had some great ones. I'll start off. Chris Gay said that they once found an adult male in a corner in the fetal position sipping an airplane bottle. Apparently, he just gave up halfway through going through the haunt.
Yep. Christian Risto said Q actor tripped on a drain hose. Another actor came to laugh at him in character, and then tripped on the same hose.
Yeah. First rule, guys, if one of your haunt siblings, one of your haunt family trips, go and check on them and make sure they're okay, even if it's in character. Mm-hmm. Please do that first. That way you won't get such a tool when you trip over the same hose.
Yeah. Victor
Rula said, the I dropped my cheeseburger incident. Basically, he runs a home haunt and a yard haunt. Did not realize that family came, did not realize the haunt was walked through. Kid brought his McDonald's through it, including a quarter-pounder cheeseburger, and it got lost.
Yeah, imagine that. Okay.
And I'm sorry, kid, that cheeseburger is gone.
Fairly Savage said, pointed out a missed opportunity for a scare, and they got scared.
Yeah, he was working in Halloween Horror Nights. He was in another house going through it and just seeing. And he's like, oh man, I would have put a scare there. And then got scared.
Yeah, they did.
They did, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Sam Farrell, basically, some drunk frat boys were quote unquote working a trail haunt, and they jumped out with Busch Light cans, drunk, screaming, your souls are damned. Apropos nothing, and it's just a weird imagery. But, guys, there's a winner here. I don't hand out winners much anymore.
No, well, and with the Sam Farrell one, it's also, you know...
It also goes to the previous week's What the Fuck?
Yeah, it goes to the what the fuck, and it goes to if these were actors there, why were they drinking while working?
Well, the way he made it sound, they were not actors. Okay. They were just drunk idiots that showed up and accessed the trail hunt through a back means.
Oh, like our friend that shows up every year.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Except this was a multi-yard trail hunt. They just were able to waltz up to it through the woods. That's one of the downsides of an outdoor haunt is you really don't have perimeter control to the same extent. Mm-hmm. So just a thought. But anyways, we got to talk about this. We don't usually read these verbatim, but I think this is one time we got to read verbatim. Yeah. This comes from James Isaac Smith. Crystal, take over.
Okay. I don't know if this will be an answer to this week's question or last week's.
And it works for both.
It does. But this situation was quite hilarious to me and my friend. Back in 2008 or 2009, a group of friends and I went to a haunted house that was Jeepers Creepers themed. At the time, I still have some of my sight left, but one of my friends was completely blind with 2 prosthetics. The end of the haunted house had a scene where an actor was dressed up as Jeepers Creepers, and he was manipulating another actor and using her to speak. She told my friend that Jeepers Creepers liked his eyes and he wanted them. So my friend took out both of his prosthetics and tried to hand them to them.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we can wrap this podcast up.
Yeah.
I think we've peaked. It's been very lovely. Please check us out, hauntweekly.com, hauntweekly on Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah, I could just imagine, like, from the actor's standpoint, this happening.
Now, when we didn't read this until recently. For some reason, we weren't getting alerts on our messages, so we saw it today. We actually reached out to Japes, our resident actor expert, to try to give us some insight into this. And he said that and I think I'm going to paraphrase here, but it was a very apt way of putting it, that basically no actor should ever make a promise or a threat that they don't plan on carrying out. Right.
Because you might have this happen.
So you don't want to say, I'm going to spray you with my flower and then not be able to spray him with the flower, for example.
No, I'm going to kill you. No, you're not.
No, you're not. You're absolutely not going to do that. No. Now, don't make promises and threats you can't carry out.
Yeah.
But that being said, I mean, if you're going with the Jeepers Creepers theme, and I believe he said it best, he said, there are some actors who would pride themselves on never being thrown off, and this is included. But he would not expect any regular run-of-the-mill actor to be able to pull out of this one.
No.
And I think that is incredibly fair.
Yeah.
So this week's question of the week is a little more boring. Mm-hmm. But I don't think we're going to get answers about people pulling their prosthetic eyeballs out at the very least.
No.
But this week's question of the week is a simple one. What is the typical hourly pay for someone in your haunt? Specifically, we're asking about seasonal actors. But if you have other employees that are year-round, I'd be curious about that too.
Yeah.
Let us know. Once again, hauntweekly.com, hauntweekly on Twitter, hauntweekly on Facebook, and youtube.com/hauntweekly. Post your answers there. We also post the question of the week as a thread on our Facebook page every Wednesday. That's where a lot of the conversation goes down, so feel free to check that out and join in. If you're not following the Facebook page, that is probably one of the best ways to keep up if we're being honest with each other.
Yeah.
As for our answer, we're a home haunt. We don't pay.
Right.
We lose money.
Yeah.
This isn't a business, it's an avocation. It's something we do for fun and something our friends do for fun.
Right.
But if we ran it as a business, that would be one of the first conversations we had to have is how much are we going to pay these actors? I don't have an easy answer for that right now, just because we haven't really thought about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But like I said, if we decided to go pro, which we did a whole episode about why we're not going pro, but if ever we changed our minds, that would literally be one of the first conversations we had to have.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding.
No.
All right. Well, it's an even week, so that means it is time to do the conference reminders. And I'll have you all know, I spent a lot of time on this week's conference reminders. I mean, Crystal will vouch for me here. This was a process. This was a bear to get all these updated and ready to go. This should be as updated as possible as of today, March 27th, Sunday, March 27th.
Yeah, and if we miss something, you know where to let us know.
Yeah, just all those aforementioned places. I'm not doing it again. All right, coming up first, May 13th through the 15th in Portland, Oregon. It's the West Coast Haunters Convention. Organization is a nonprofit that donates to professionals that work with people with autism. They have a haunted tour bus that is visiting Fear PDX in Portland, and 2 great-looking parties, a costume contest, and a foam dart war. Get all the details at hauntersconvention.com.
Okay, June 10th through the 12th, it is Midwest Haunters Convention at Rosemont, Illinois. They will be at the Donald E. Stevens Convention Center. Pre-convention haunt tour includes visits to Massacre, Basement of the Dead, Evil Intentions, and Disturbia.
We have been to, I believe, all those. We haven't been to Disturbia.
We haven't been to Disturbia.
But the other 3 we can vouch for is Great Haunts.
Yeah. Obviously, it's going to have a costume party. Every one of these does. Other details are pending.
As of today.
MidwestHauntersConvention.com for more info.
All right, then after that, it's Michigan Haunt Fest at the Oaks Campground in Munith, Michigan. Demos are free of charge. Make and takes have an individual fee. Do note that meals are not included. They do have a place on site that will be serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Also, Saturday attendees will be forced to pay a $2 entry fee to the campground. They really want to make sure people knew this. So yeah, be aware of that. It includes a campsite decorating contest and a family movie night that is kid-friendly. That's June 24th through the 26th. MichiganHauntFest.weebly.com.
Okay, and then it's the HA event, the Haunters Against Hate. The event 2. This is the second one.
Yes, indeed, you're right.
July 8th through the 10th. It'll be in Lexington, Kentucky. Jesus Christ.
Why does that roll off the tongue like a bag of gravel? Lexington, Kentucky.
Yeah. Clarion Center North, featuring drag shows, cosplay competitions, makeup contest, and many, many special guests. HaTheEvent.com for more info.
Then after that in Mesquite, Texas, right outside of Dallas, July 17th through the July 16th and 17th, it's the Texas Haunters Convention at the Mesquite Convention Center. Details still forthcoming. Tickets go on sale on April 1st. TexasHauntersConvention.com for more info.
Okay. The Southeast Hollows Haunt Convention will be taking place July 29th through the 31st in Savannah, Georgia. There'll be a masquerade ball, magician, and demos on the floor show. SEHHC.com for more info.
And finally, for right now, Midsummer Scream Eek is coming to Long Beach, California, July 29th through the 31st at the Pasadena Convention Center. Oh, it's in Pasadena, not Long Beach. Why does it say Long Beach in the notes?
I don't know. You updated.
Yeah, no, apparently I did a crap job. Featuring the traditional Hall of Shadows, which if you're not familiar with it, is a concept where various haunts build small rooms or sections of the haunt and stitch it together into one attraction. It's a lot of fun. Also has a screaming room, a little mini horror film festival there. MidsummerScream.org.
You said screening room. I really thought you said screaming room.
It is screaming room.
It is screaming room. Okay.
It is screaming room.
Where they screen things, though.
Yes, it's a screaming room, but they screen things, yes.
Right. It's not where you can just go in and yell at things and, be really loud.
No, it's not that. It's a pun. I'm surprised you are unfamiliar with the concept of a pun after, 20 plus years with me.
I don't know. I just think a screaming room would be awesome, too.
Well, yes, it would. I mean, but they do have those rage rooms where you can go in and break shit.
Exactly. That's kind of what I was thinking of.
And see, it's funny because I've always wanted to do a rage room, but I want to book just 5 minutes in it because I'm old and I know that's all the energy I have.
Yeah.
I've got enough rage for the hour, but my body doesn't have enough go for the hour.
Yeah.
I mean, you're swinging a sledgehammer around, throwing heavy shit. Yeah, I'm going to be done after 5 minutes, guys.
Yeah. What's the tiniest thing left that I can break? Can I just throw it against the wall?
After that, I'll be on the floor in a puddle with a ball-peen hammer just breaking little pieces of a plate. All right. So anyways, this week's topic is about the quote-unquote, labor shortage. And, all right, first a few words about politics in this situation. This is not a political episode.
Nope.
We've made our politics on this known many times before. We're not going to repeat it too far. We do not believe there is a labor shortage, any such thing as a labor shortage. But here is the thing. Businesses are having trouble finding, many places are, especially those that are not able to pay above a certain amount, are having trouble recruiting employees.
Right.
And there's many reasons for this. The pandemic has caused many to rethink the nature of work.
Right.
Many have found side hustles or other things that they were doing that paid them better than low-paying jobs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know someone personally who got fired or let go from a catering job and then launched a charcuterie business that, judging from how popular they are on Facebook, is doing quite well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've seen a lot of great stuff like this. And frankly, I mean, some got ill, and even those that didn't die of COVID, many of those are on long-term disability. The toll of COVID is not just in death.
Yeah.
And they're basically, though, what it all amounts to is that the people want to work, but they're not going to work for the wages and the conditions they were working in before.
Right.
That's not a labor shortage. That is a good quality of job shortage.
Exactly. And I think that really was really, hit home for a lot of people because they didn't think that they had options.
Yeah.
You take what you can get, and if it pays the bills, even if it's just a little bit.
Yeah, you can just scrape them by.
Yeah. Then, that was fine. But now people have had time to really think and explore other options.
But yeah, exactly. And then other options can include everything from, DoorDash and all these side hustle jobs that some people seem to do really well, others seem to struggle with, and a myriad of other things. But anyways, this is not meant to be a political episode, like I said. This is meant to be an acceptance of reality episode.
Yeah.
First and foremost, the minimum wage is going up in some 21 states.
Yeah.
In January of this year, the minimum wage went up in nearly half the fucking states in this country.
Yeah.
And I just put in some of the top ones that I found. In California, it went up to $15. In Washington State, it went up to $14.49. Why that amount? $14.50 was just too much, I guess. And $14.48, not enough. Massachusetts was $14.25. New York, $13.20. New Jersey, $13 even. And Maine, $12.75, all representing significant increases over the federal minimum wage, which still, I believe, sits at $7.25.
Yeah, exactly. But there is a proposal for the federal minimum wage to be raised to $15.
Whether that comes through or not a political episode.
Right.
But yeah, something you might want to keep an eye on, because that could have an impact too. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. Even if you're in one of the 29 states, or you're an international and the minimum wage is not going up, it's still likely going up functionally.
Right.
People who are looking for employment aren't even considering jobs that are less than $10 an hour.
No.
If your job's in the single digits per hour, not even getting a look.
No.
Sorry.
And I mean, why would you?
Yeah.
People can't live off of that.
You can't live off of that. And the want ads are filled with jobs that will pay more.
Yeah.
There is literally no reason to spend 8 hours a day doing a job to get broke. Just saying. So yeah, basically labor costs are going to go up at least on a per person basis. We're going to get into that. And there's not realistically much haunt owners can do. And gas prices are going to play a factor in it too.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically, so what we wanted to do is we wanted to revisit this issue of haunt recruiting through this new prism of haunt actors, especially the seasonal employees, being more difficult to get. So we wanted to talk about what do you need to do to recruit additional staff, ways to handle the increased staff costs, and how to recruit in spite of limited wages. Because there's a simple truth here, and I want every haunt just to take a breath and accept this truth. Mm-hmm. No seasonal haunt actor took the job as a job. Well, almost none. I mean, we'll talk about a few exceptions, but that's pretty much never true.
Right. Because, I mean, well, we'll get into reasons.
Well, yeah, I mean, basically, even if you offer an extremely competitive hourly wage,
right,
a haunt cannot offer enough hours, typically. Mm-mm. The only exception to that are year-round haunts. And those haunts typically just employ 1 or 2 people. And for them, yeah, it is an 8-hour, 9 to 5, or 2 people at a time per shift, basically.
Yeah.
And for them, it is a regular job. They are definitely the exception, not the rule in this. So let's say you're running a haunt that is open 3 nights per week. We'll say Thursday, Friday, Saturday. and you offer a very competitive $15 per hour rate. That's $15 per 6 hours, we'll say as an estimate, per night, and then you do it 3 times a week. That is $270 before tax. If you do that across so then you take the tax out, and I used a tax estimator to try to find out roughly how much would likely be taken out, even assuming ideal circumstances for not taking tax. Fairly good circumstances for not taking tax. It would be $237 after tax. And across 6 weeks, that means they made just $1,400 and some change. Yeah. $1,422 was the number I came up with. But these are all estimates, obviously, and all based upon a haunt paying a $15 wage, which I believe is pretty unrealistic for most haunts.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, I think 6 weeks might even be a little bit of a stretch, because I've seen ads for last year that were 21 days. Yeah. You get 21 days of pay. Yeah.
I figured, I was thinking they start mid-September-ish and go through the first week of November.
Oh, yeah. No, I get it.
It was all an approximate estimation. But the point is this. You can juggle the numbers a little bit. You can play around. Yeah. The point of the fact remains, ain't nobody living off $1,400 per year. No. Now, there are people that may be able to treat this as a job. They may be people like, high school students and some college students who otherwise have sources of revenue, maybe parents. Yeah. And they just use this as their party money and their beer money, and that's okay and that's fine. But this isn't going to be someone's job. No. It can't be.
And it can't interfere with their regular job either.
No one can be expected to sacrifice their real job for your haunt. Because they'd starve. Yeah. That's it. They'd flip and starve. I mean, look, you and I are both very fortunate people in that we have jobs that provide a degree of flexibility.
Right. And, that flexibility for me is a little more rigid because the new position right around October is busy. And this will be the first year where job might interfere with what we do for Halloween. And
I think part of what we're going to do is we're going to shift a lot of our pre-work that we would be doing in September, October, ahead toward the summer months. Because your job's been really busy these past few weeks, too, because it's still seasonal. But once we get into summer, maybe things will relax a little bit.
I hope so.
And we can do some work in the haunt and our queue line and get things in order. Yeah. But basically you can't expect people to sacrifice their real job. They're not going to take food out of their mouths. They're not going to make their family starve. They're not going to fail to pay their rent because they wanted to work your haunt. They can't do it. That is an unreasonable expectation. And that has nothing to do with the quote-unquote labor shortage. No. Nothing to do at all.
No, this has been a thing for a long time.
Yeah, this has always been the case. So in many ways, the labor shortage has changed nothing. No. In that regard, it's really changed jack shit. Yeah. It does mean you're probably going to have to offer higher hourly rates, and we'll get to some of that in a minute. But, yeah, from a practical standpoint of pay your employees but don't expect it to be their job, that's kind of always been there. Yeah. So, yeah. So basically what you need to find are actors for whom the following things are true. First, they don't need the money. They might think it's nice. Yeah. They might like the money. Mm-hmm. They might want the money. But they don't need the money. They're not going to starve or get evicted if they don't get the money.
Right. That's not, the reason that they're signing up to do this.
Yeah, that's not the reason. And so, second is the haunting cannot interfere with their day job. So whatever their day job is, it needs to not overlap with the hours you're haunting. And also, number 3, it needs to leave them not too tired to perform that job. Because if someone has a very physically demanding job, they go and say it's like an 8 to 4 gig. Yeah. So they go, or even a 7 to 3. Okay, well, that's great from a time frame. They come home, they get time to eat, refresh a little bit, and then go to the haunt. Yeah. And go do the haunt stuff, right? If it's physically demanding, they may not have anything left.
Exactly. So, in short, you're looking for actors that are already have some stability, but want to work in a haunted house.
They want to have some fun.
Exactly.
They want to do something fun and different and unique.
And in lots of times in the past, I've been able to work out with positions, time time off on nights that haunts were open.
Yeah.
You know, I take vacation days to do this.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things, like, so you have vacation time, you have personal time, you have sick time.
Yeah.
You've actually got a pretty good deal. You're in the university system, so you got a pretty good deal with time off. And I work for myself, and I have for the past, how many years now? 15? Yeah. So I can always shuffle and rearrange and...
Yeah. Even before, though, I was in university, I would take unpaid leave just to do this. And bosses knew, you know, Friday nights.
That last week of October, don't expect shit from me.
Exactly. And I'm going to have haunt brain most of the month. Yeah. So write it down if you want me to do it.
Yeah. But people this includes.
Yeah.
First group that comes to mind immediately are teenagers.
Yeah.
If they are already reliant on their parents for income, if they don't do the job, they won't, like, starve.
Right.
Hopefully. But the few extra bucks can make a big difference. I remember my first job as a teenager. I was a cashier at Food Lion. Not the worst job in the world, I'll admit it. I never made an appreciable amount of money at it.
No.
But I had date money, and I went on dates with that money. Yes, somehow girls wanted to date me in high school. I don't understand it either. I don't know how they want to date me now. But... God,
anyway.
Getting that look, okay. Anyways, but no, seriously. They can make a big difference, but even a little bit of money can make a big difference to them. That $1,400 could be their down payment on a car they want.
Could be the new
laptop
system.
They wanted, or video game system they wanted.
Yeah.
It could be anything like that. I mean, yeah, for them, this could be an opportunity to buy a luxury they might not otherwise have been able to afford.
Right.
And that is true, so it can make a difference. But you've got to be mindful of child labor laws, and dear God, are these complicated.
Yes, they are, and I hope that you have somebody in your HR department, and you should have an HR department.
Or at least an HR person.
Yes, who knows all of this stuff.
I looked up Louisiana's laws. When school is in session, under 16-year-olds can only work 3 hours a day or 18 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't shit, bro.
No.
If it's not in session, so summer, i.e. not super helpful, though it might help your holiday show.
Yeah.
That can go up to 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, no, it doesn't help because there's no work between 9 p.m. to 7 a.m. Yeah, haunts can go fuck themselves on under 16-year-olds, basically, in the state. If you're over 16, there's no hourly restrictions, but nothing past 12 a.m. on non-school days and past 11 p.m. on school days. Mm-hmm. So you may be able to work with that.
Yeah.
That's tougher, but not impossible. So especially if you are primarily a Friday, Saturday haunt, where you've got that 12 a.m. limit. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. I think that's doable. The second group, though, is people who are currently unemployed but not actively seeking employment.
Right.
They might be on disability or other government assistance. They might have a fixed income from some other source. Even it could be a structured settlement. We know someone whose primary source of income is that. Mm-hmm. And now I've got the J.G. Wentworth song in my head. And I did it my own goddamn self, didn't I?
Good job for you.
All right.
Yeah. But for a lot of these types, there are restrictions on how much money they can actually make.
Yeah. And so a haunt may be a great way for them to make a little extra money, but also just to do something different and fun. And once again, that's going to be a common theme here of how we sell this to potential actors as we focus on the fun side of it. Mm-hmm. And the third is those who are otherwise financially stable, those with stable jobs that don't require them to work nights and weekends, when haunts are open. Mm-hmm. And anyone with a non-physical 9-to-5 job, especially if they've got a little flexibility, or they're like me where they work for themselves, or like you and have abundant personal time off, and all that stuff can make a great difference in those individuals. But you're not going to wheel them in with money because they're already financially stable. Any money they get from your haunt will likely be peanuts compared to their day job. Yeah. And that's just the way it's going to be. Like we said earlier, even if you pay a good rate, even if you are the best employer you can be, and I believe you should be, even if all that's true, the hours don't add up usually.
No.
And even if the hours add up, it's still only 1 to 2 months.
Yeah.
What are you supposed to do there at 10?
No.
If they're a truly seasonal employee. Like I said, a lot of this doesn't apply to year-round haunts, obviously, or those haunts with a different seasonal system.
Right, or the haunts that have year-round staff that help do the builds and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, but for those that we're talking seasonal haunt season employees, actors, makeup artists, and other entertainers, that type of thing. Mm-hmm. So yeah. Now here are some issues that you're going to run into with groups such as these. First is transportation. Teenagers and those on the fringes, especially those on fixed incomes, will have very limited transportation. One great way to handle this is to increase access to public transit if you can. Mm-hmm. I know, for example, here locally, I would have a much easier time getting to the mortuary without a car than I would, say, Rise.
Yeah, definitely.
Because Rise is way the fuck out there in Tickfall in the woods. If you ain't got a car, you got a long walk ahead of you.
Yeah, no kidding.
But meanwhile, mortuary is literally on the streetcar line. Mm-hmm. It's literally a streetcar stop.
Yeah.
So I could literally feasibly get on a bus here at my house or about a block or two away where the bus station is and be at the mortuary with nothing but public transit. Mm-hmm. But if that doesn't work, consider offering a shuttle or some other transportation service. And one idea that has worked well at some haunts is having actors team up and buddy up for transportation.
Exactly what I was about to go to. Yeah.
Yeah. Create a system.
Yes, because I would love to find somebody in our area that works over near where I work so that I can take the HOVs in the morning, HOV lanes.
HOV.
Yes.
Yeah.
And not have to sit in traffic for 20 minutes.
Yeah, that would be really, really cool. And unfortunately for you, there's no real good solution for us with that.
Well, no.
But
I mean, if I worked at a haunt, I would definitely be reaching out to the other actors and saying, hey,
can I get a ride from you?
Who lives in this area? Can we all ride together and take turns to drive?
And this is one of those things that you can incentivize too. If you are the driver and you were helping 3 other actors get home, maybe a small gas stipend, especially with these gas prices being the way they are. Mm-hmm. Something like that can help incentivize this, and it just gets people there much more reliably.
Yeah.
Second problem is going to be locating them. This is kind of always a problem, but whatever. Traditional tools for locating employees are not going to be as successful. These are not people you're going to find on Monster.com or LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. And even if you do find them, they're not going to necessarily be looking for work, and certainly you're not looking for haunted attraction work. So you've got to get on alternative social media platforms. You've got to get where your potential audience is, both your customers and your employees.
Right.
Rely very heavily on word of mouth is a great piece of advice. Sorry, what you got to say? You had something there.
I've seen people on Craigslist, and also if you've got customers who are loyal to you and want to work for you, they will be watching your social media pages to see when you post that you're hiring. Yeah,
but basically make the application process easily and accessible and available. Don't make people hunt and scrape to find your job application. It should be doable online. It should be doable on mobile devices. It should be doable where your potential employees are.
Yes, and don't do the thing where you ask them to upload a resume. I don't know why you would do this, but ask them to upload a resume and then have them fill out a form with the same information. That's always aggravating.
If I become dictator of the world, that is a death penalty offense. Sorry. Bang! It's over. Sorry, Jimmy. I already uploaded that information. We're done. I don't know why I'm applying for jobs as a dictator of the world. I've already got the greatest job. But I am making that a death penalty offense. But yeah, seriously, make this a year-round project. Start looking. If you haven't started looking now, start looking now.
Yeah.
And basically then convincing them to sign on is going to be your final obstacle. You're not going to be able to win them over with the money, as we discussed. The main focus is going to be how unique this job is, how fun this job is, and the family and friends that you will make from it. A great target for this, I have found in New Orleans at least, has always been people that are new to the city. People who are new to an area, eager to meet friends, eager to find people to hang out with and do things with. Working at a haunted attraction can be a great way to get in a social group that you never otherwise would have had access to.
Well, and here in places where lots of movies are filmed, it's also a great way to get in on like set design and costumes and things like that to build up your portfolio so that you can take it to the movie studios.
Yeah. But yeah, remember, payment is still important.
Yeah.
If you're not a home or a charity haunt. But the biggest benefits you can bring to this table are not cash. They will never be cash. It's the experience, not a job. Pitch it as an experience, not a job, basically. It's an experience that you can make a little money in. Mm-hmm. So here's the thing, though. The truth of the matter is, like we said, those hourly rates are going up.
Right.
There's literally nothing really to discuss about that. It's happening. You might as well brace for the reality. Mm-hmm. Whether you like it or not, or you think it's BS or not, doesn't matter. It's happening. Brace for it. Sorry, guys. Mm-hmm. So here's the things that I see will have to change, and I'm pretty sure you'll back me up. First, haunts are going to have to be redesigned to work with fewer actors.
Yeah.
And we have seen this a lot. We've gone to haunts which previously, before they paid their actors especially, had hundreds of actors, and it felt crowded in there. And then we go back after they start paying, and now there's only like a dozen people, and it felt empty until they started redesigning and adjusting the haunt to make sure that it worked. Basically, you have to have actors work multiple scares, often in multiple rooms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this is something that we used to do whenever we were first starting, because we didn't have a lot of people.
Yeah, and we still do it to a degree. We still at least make it optional.
Yeah.
We make it so that, since we're stuck with what we can get, because like I said, home haunt, don't pay. But so what we do is we make it so that one actor can operate these 3 scares.
Right.
But if we get 3 people, or we have extra people, that person goes there, that person goes there.
Exactly.
Now everyone can focus on one task.
Exactly.
And this is what I think a lot of pro haunts are going to have to do. They're going to have to start reconfiguring their haunt so that actors can operate multiple scares if they can afford to, and they're able to recruit, and they're able to get the people, or one person does each scare. Great. If not, this way the show doesn't shut down. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Jimmy, you're I don't know why I'm picking on Jimmy today.
I don't know either.
Poor Jimmy. I'm picking on Jimmy today. But yeah, Jimmy may be tired at the end of his shift doing 3 scares, but he can do them, you know?
Yeah.
Also, you may be looking at swapping some human scares, maybe some of the lower required ones with animatronics or static elements. Especially, they can serve as distractions in many cases. We've seen that happen many times. And you may have to see if some scenes can work without actors at all.
Yeah, exactly. And when you are using the animatronics or static elements, definitely do use them as distractions. Don't use them as the scare. Don't make some poor actor try to entertain people until the animatronic goes off. The animatronic's not going to be the scare. It's going to be the human every time.
Yeah. I tell you, straight fire, I have never seen a distracting startle at work where the human was the distracting animatronic was the startle. I've just never... If you've seen it work, let me know. Let us know. I want to hear about it. We've been to a ton of haunts, and so many have tried. It has never worked.
No.
And I think the reason is because the startle part requires that human instinct that an animatronic just cannot bring to the party.
No.
Even the best animatronics. But let us know. If you've seen it work, let me know. I'll be curious. Let us know. I'll be eager to find out, right? Mm-hmm. Actors will be hired for quality, not quantity. If recruitment does go well, you're going to likely have to reject more people. I know, for example, 13th Gate usually accepts 50% of the actors that try to recruit, somewhere in that range. That was a few years ago, at least. That's what they reported, at least.
Right.
But, yeah, in times like this, if that's your normal, for example, that may drop, if you were able to get the same number of applications, that may drop to 25, as you can't afford as many positions. Mm-hmm. And that means that if recruitment goes well, more actors will be rejected, but you will be able to focus on finding the best actors and finding the right ones for specific roles, and you'll be able to better focus your training efforts on them.
Right, so focus on that quality over quantity in this case.
It is much easier to train 25 actors than 50, for example. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. you can't really increase quantity in this type of environment, so the focus has to be on improving quality. And you'll need more actors, kind of in like the B team, if you will, or standby roles, if you will, because I'm personally expecting, due to the rising labor costs and all this, I'm deeply expecting the percentages of actor drop off to increase this season. I have not heard whether they did last season or not, but I would expect it this season, just because actors are going to see other opportunities to make real money and do real jobs, and they're going to take them. Because that's one of the things there was a study on, is that the Great Retirement, as it was called, is apparently a misnomer, because people aren't actually retiring. They're just reading the help wanted ads and quitting to go to other better jobs.
Yeah. So,
yeah, they're not leaving to go home. They're leaving for better paying, less stressful, better treatment, whatever. In fact, we know someone that did that just this week.
Yeah, exactly.
Had been a manager at a fast food restaurant for ever. Years, many, many years. Quit last week, quit earlier this week, and went to a different restaurant that offered him the same pay, but a much less stressful job. Yeah. Basically no longer a manager, now just has one task and gets to focus on it. And good for him.
Yeah, and more standardized hours.
Oh, yeah, more stable hours, because they were screwing him on the hours, my God.
Well, yeah, managers at fast food, they have to cover every shift.
Yeah.
Every position, so. Okay.
So, yeah, just expect that to increase. And that way you need to know that if you have X number of actors, you need to have people you can call in to replace. Plan on having more backups.
Also, make sure that you have them in case people get sick.
Yeah, obviously. You don't want to encourage people to come in sick. You want to create that positive work experience. Okay, so how do we recruit through this? Well, we've talked a lot about actor recruitment. Frankly, a lot of it stays true. A lot of the old chestnuts are still valid. Basically, if you have any ends with local drama clubs or at high schools or colleges or things like that, that is a great place to start, because here you have your theater kids already with actor experience, some of the interactive acting experience, who can jump in, and maybe if they're not actors, they might be makeup artists or actor coaches.
Yeah. Yeah, in fact, if you're starting recruiting this summer, you could look and see if any of them have summer camps. Yeah. Summer camps for theater kids. You could offer to do a lesson one day. Yeah. You know?
Maybe have up the summer camp come visit your haunt.
Yeah. Exactly.
Why not? That's a great way to build interest. Also, Craigslist and other less traditional job recruiting sites. Yeah. And this is the type of work that seems to do well on those. Local groups, like on Facebook and Nextdoor and things like that. The hyper local regional groups can help. Things like that. Those still work. But I think the most important thing is going to be word of mouth from your actors.
Yeah, and also, like I said, if you've got customers who are wanting and fans who want to come work with you, make sure you put that loud and proud on your website, on your social media. Hey, we're hiring, and pin that to the top somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, put that out there. And as we'll discuss in a minute, also, don't hesitate to do it on site.
Yeah.
Focus on social media. Go where your audience is. That's your TikToks, your Instagrams. I mean, Facebook can be great because of the localization of it. But you've really got to drill down on Facebook. I mean, I've gotten ads for employment at haunted attractions that are in different states.
Yeah.
You got to focus this. I would do your posts in community groups and things like that, really targeted. And understand, in those groups, you may not be actually speaking to your future employees, but their parents or other relatives that may tell them about it.
Yeah.
So encourage the spreading of the word is what I'm saying. But yeah, haunting is a particular social thing, so that's a social media. Good place to start. When you're promoting the job, do be transparent about wages, but feature the adventure and the experience as the top benefits. Make it fun. Make it something that people want to do. This isn't just a job. This is something much bigger than a job. It's much different than a job. This is an experience you will be telling your kids about and your grandkids about. You know, you're going to be talking about this. This is going to be this. You're going to meet friends that will stay with you for years, type thing. Mm-hmm. This is your chance to do that. Make it about fun, not business, but still be transparent about the business stuff, please.
Yeah.
Offer, and this is a big one, to your current actors, offer recruitment bonuses. Your existing actors likely know people that'd be very good, but aren't there. Mm-hmm. Give them a reason to bring them in. Offer a bonus, even a small one. Say that, hey, if you bring someone in and they work 4 nights, just set some kind of bar there where they have to work a certain number of hours, you get a $50 bonus. Is that a huge bonus? No. But could it be a really big help and a really big motivator to bring more people in? Yes, it can. Mm-hmm. Even small bonuses, like I say, can do a lot. It's kind of incredible how when you gamify something like this, people chomp at the bit to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, and if you need to cap the expenses on recruitment bonuses, make it a contest with a big prize. Say, okay, whoever brings in the most people that work at least 4 nights, you will win a PlayStation 5 or whatever.
Yeah. Just one big item instead of lots of little prizes.
You can do that too. Personally, I think the individual bonuses are better, but I also understand you may not want to have to deal with 10 bajillion recruitment bonuses.
Right, especially since you're going to be, increasing what you pay actors.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said earlier, and I think it was very astute, is do not hesitate to advertise to customers if needed. Mm-hmm. And you're absolutely right. That includes the website, that includes the social media presence, that includes everywhere you normally contact your customers. But also, don't hesitate to do it on site, too, if there is still need.
Yeah, and in your email
email newsletter, yeah.
Yeah, your newsletters that you've had going out to customers this whole time.
Yeah, hopefully.
You've been doing that, right?
Yeah. Make sure to have a part in there. Want to work with us? ... Here's some info. Here's where to go to apply. Bingo, bango, bongo. Exactly. Right? It's easy peasy. Yeah, this is a special... Because here's what's going to happen at some point during the season. I guarantee it. Someone that's never been to your haunt, or maybe never been to a haunted house at all, is going to go to your haunt, and they're just going to fall smegging in love with it.
Yep.
This will happen. And they will so desperately want to work there or apply there. And if you need people, and you don't have a way for them to apply and get on board, then you're missing out. They've already been your customer. Mm-hmm. And yeah, they might come back again. But trust me, a passionate actor, someone that really wants to learn, can be much more valuable than a single customer. So I personally find it very useful to recruit from the people who are attending your home. We get volunteers from our line all the time. In fact, opening night, we usually have a thing. If you want to volunteer later nights, we're short on Halloween night, for example. Mm-hmm. Here's how to contact us. Yeah. And people will come through, and they will contact us.
Yeah.
It does work. So, yeah, it's especially good for a charity haunt or a home haunt, but I can see it working for almost any haunt. And the main thing, the big daddy here, focus on retention first. Recruitment is going to be a bear no matter what.
Yep.
And that's just the nature of it. So your focus needs to be on keeping the people you have. If you've got a good crew and you've got most of the people you need already locked in, then that takes a lot of the burden off. Divert efforts to ensure that actors, you keep the actors you have. Keep in touch with them over the year. Offer get-togethers and parties, even if they're virtual. Try to be an ongoing positive part of their lives.
Exactly. Don't just use them for the season and then forget about them until the next season.
Until it's August and you're recruiting again.
Yeah, exactly. They're not going to feel like you really care about them.
And you know what? And I'm going to give a suggestion that I didn't put in the notes, but I think is really fucking good. Mm-hmm. There's a site called Moonpig.
Yeah.
And you know where this is going now.
I do.
Moonpig.com/US if you're in the US. But basically what it is a site that lets you print and send custom cards to people. And you can get them to send you reminders when you need to do it. So what you can do is you can get your actors' names and email names, addresses, birth dates, and other information into the system, save it, and then Moonpig will remind you when something's, hey, so-and-so's birthday is in a week. You need to send them a card.
Yeah.
And then you can go in, pick a card, fill it out, send it to them. And that way you're giving them, a year-round contact on their birthdays, around Christmas time or other holidays, whatever you choose. And that way you can, and also one really cool thing about it is you can use custom photos. Yeah. So you can upload custom artwork related to your haunted attraction for the cover.
Yeah, you got a picture of them in their costume. Mm-hmm. Say, hey, we're thinking about you at halfway to Halloween. Yeah. Can't wait to see you back.
Yeah, exactly. You can really this is an easy, cheap, very low energy way to do it because it's only like $3 a card.
Yeah.
$3 to $4 a card. So this is an easy...
Well, yeah, but if you got hundreds of actors...
True, but... If you've got hundreds of actors that you're paying $15 an hour, this is not on the high end of your actor expenses, even then.
Right. And, that's something that people don't think about. It's much easier to keep people who have worked with you than it is to bring someone in brand new and spend that time training them.
Well, yeah, because there's a recruitment cost, there is a training cost.
Yep.
Even if that cost is purely time, it's a cost. It's a recruitment cost and a training cost, and then a social integration cost.
Yeah, exactly.
Because now all your old hands have this new person they're trying to figure out.
Yeah.
And it's like introducing a new cat into a group of cats. They've all got to feel the cat out. Uh-huh. It's like any social situation, honestly. Yeah. When you bring someone new to a social group, it's not unique to haunters. But the point is, there's a social integration cost too.
Yeah.
It's gonna send vibrations through the haunt culture a little bit there. So be thinking about that. Moonpig.com though is a very interesting site. I've been using it for personal stuff. I think haunts, especially smaller ones, could really well use it though to keep in contact with their crew year round.
Yeah.
So that was just an idea last minute. Mm-hmm. So real fast, I want to wind up with some key takeaways here because I know that someone's going to skip to the end and hope for some kind of a consensus statement. So here it is. Rapid fire. Labor is getting more expensive. Those that work for you will not be driven by money. You still should pay them, though, unless you're a charity or home haunt. Haunts will have to adapt both physically and culturally to operate with fewer actors. This is going to require a lot of redesign and rethinking. Now is the time to start doing that, obviously.
Or 2 months ago.
Well, realistically, 2 months ago. Now is the second best time.
Yeah.
Actor recruitment and retention will become much more important, with a greater focus on adventure, fun, and life enrichment. And most importantly, start thinking about all this now.
Yes.
If you're not thinking about realistically, once again, 2 months ago was the actual best time. But second best time is today.
Yeah.
Like the old saying, the best time to plant a tree was 80 years ago, 100 years ago. Mm-hmm. Second best time is today.
Yeah.
It's always the second best time to think about this.
Exactly.
Well, I think that's everything.
Yeah.
So hopefully that was somewhat useful and somewhat engaging. And I really, like I said, I'm going to be very interested because we haven't been able to go to haunts for a few years. This is looking like the first year in some time we're going to be able to.
Yeah.
Very excited about it, but I'm also going to be very curious to see how things have changed due to COVID. And one of the issues that will change haunts and nudge haunts is going to be the question of, labor and how many people haunts can recruit and employ.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, everyone, thank you very much for spending the past hour with us. The battery-powered one did not die.
Oh.
I'm very impressed by you, little bastard. You're on 0 bars, but you're hanging in there like a champ.
We should wrap this up.
Yeah, we should. We really should. Anyways, this has been Hauntin' Weekly, episode 330, talking about the labor shortage. You can find more Hauntin' Weekly at hauntweekly.com or Hauntin' Weekly on Twitter, Hauntin' Weekly on Facebook. YouTube.com/Hauntin' Weekly is the YouTube channel. Every episode of Hauntin' Weekly is there. What more could you want from us, people? Well, I guess you could also follow us on, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, all that stuff, too. I mean, there's all that, too. Fine. No, seriously, it's all wonderful, all great. Leave us your thoughts. Thank you very much for listening. And until next time, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Crystal.
And we will see you all next week. And we'll figure which of these audio systems we like the best. See you then.